Hey, this is Pampered Chef Corey here, and I am about to do my maiden voyage on the cold brew coffee pitcher. I'm so excited about this. I actually don't drink coffee at all, but the main reason is because it hurts my belly, and I've heard that the reason that coffee can hurt your belly is because it's more acidic when you brew it with hot water. So the cold brew is actually a sweeter, richer flavor for your coffee because you're not using hot water. You're letting it be poured over coffee grounds and seep overnight. And so it's about 18 to 24 hours to create your coffee. But after that, it's a very mild, sweeter flavor of coffee. And so you don't necessarily need as much sweetener. And then a lot of people who have tummy problems because of the coffee don't necessarily get them. So I'm very excited to try this. But the great thing is that it's also a tea pitcher as well. So this is the tea insert, and you can put this in there and put loose leaf tea. You can also do bagged tea, but that's not necessarily the highest quality of tea. And also it kind of defeats the purpose of having this little insert. So the loose leaf tea I love, and you're able to put that in there, and then you would just use hot water like normal for brewing your tea because it doesn't have the same acidity problem. So this is our new pitcher. Love it. It is so pretty. So it has this nice little corset because it is a daring, bold new product. So we have this lid on here first, and inside of there we have the funnel, and then we have this nice mesh metal insert, and that is for the coffee. So you would just replace the insert with the tea one if you were going to be making tea. So I just have to figure out how to put this back on there one-handed, and here we go. Look at that. And you can even do it one-handed. Awesome. So stick that back in there. And what you're going to be doing is you actually use a higher percentage of coffee per water ratio. So you use about a cup of coffee. I'm actually a righty, so this lefty pouring is going to be interesting for my video. There we go. Look, that was almost everything in there. Now, the thing about this is that we're using coarse ground coffee, so you can kind of see some of the stuff that fell out. And so this is kind of what you would use in a French press. And the reason that you're using that instead of like a regular ground coffee that you would get at the grocery store, which you can still use, but it's just not quite as rich a flavor, and you might get a little bit of sediment in your coffee, is because this allows lots of space around for the water to seep through, and so it's not as like clogged and thick as you would have a very fine ground coffee. So you can just do this at the grocery store, or you can go to like Starbucks or a coffee shop and just ask for coarse ground coffee. So now I'm just going to pour my water over the top here. You can see we're already starting to brew. Woo! A little bit everywhere. And you just pour and you just wait it to seep down a little bit. And you pour a little bit more and wait for it to seep down a little bit. And the great thing that you can do with cold brew coffee is a lot of people enjoy it over ice, but it's different than iced coffee because it's brewed cold. Instead of iced coffee, which is hot coffee that's brewed hot, cooled down, and then put over ice. So you still have the acidity problem with iced coffee. So this is cold brewed. You stick it over ice, or you can make pour some of your cold brew coffee into like the herb freezing tray, and you can actually make coffee ice cubes, and you can use those coffee ice cubes in your coffee, and you won't water down your coffee. Now, if it's a little bit too strong, then you want to start using slightly less coffee grounds per water ratio, or you can actually add a little bit of water to dilute it, or you can just use the ice. You can also pour a lot of cream in there, whatever kind of creamer you like. And since it's a cold brew coffee, you're going to want to use something like a simple syrup sweetener instead of just straight up sugar, since it won't dissolve in the cold water or the cold coffee. So you're going to put, for simple sweetener, it's super simple. So you basically just put a little bit of sugar, about equal portions of sugar and water, into some sort of a microwave safe bowl or cup. You could also actually put it in heat it over the stove, but you just heat it a little bit until the sugar's all dissolved, and you can store it in the fridge for a couple of days, and then you pour it in and it's already dissolved, so it's great. So that's what we're going to do with our cold brew coffee for right now. I'm going to come back and check back in after it is all brewed and tomorrow, and we'll show you how to put it all together. So thanks for joining.